Captain Sarah Chen stood on the bridge of the Earth, ship times, pioneer times, as the massive alien vessel came into view. The ship was 3 times bigger than anything humans had ever built. Its silver surface gleamed in the light of distant stars. This was the moment Earth had dreamed about for hundreds of years. First contact with alien life. "They're sending a message," said Lieutenant Torres from his station. "It's in perfect English." Sarah raised an eyebrow. "How do they know our language?" "They must have been watching us for a while," Torres replied. The main screen flickered to life. A tall, thin creature appeared. It had blue skin and 4 arms. Its eyes were large and black. When it spoke, its voice was calm and smooth. "Greetings, humans of Earth. We are the Hegemony Council. We represent 47 species across this galaxy. We have come to welcome you into the galactic community." Sarah stepped forward. "This is Captain Chen of the Earth Ship Times Pioneer **. We are honored to meet you." The alien creature nodded. "I am Ambassador Krell of the Zentari people. Your species shows promise. We wish to learn more about your civilization." Over the next 3 months, humans and aliens exchanged information. The aliens seemed impressed by human technology. Earth had developed faster than light travel in just 50 years. Human computers were advanced, human cities were well organized, but the aliens seemed puzzled by human behavior. They watched videos of human wars and conflicts. They studied human history. They observed how humans worked together. "Strange," Ambassador Krell said to his fellow council members during a private meeting. "These humans fight each other. Yet they also help each other. They sacrifice themselves for others. They follow rules even when no one is watching." Another alien, a reptile-like creature with green scales, spoke up. "This behavior indicates a pack mentality. They are naturally submissive. They need leaders to tell them what to do." The third alien, covered in fur with 6 legs, agreed. "Look how they organize themselves. They form groups. They follow orders. They work together without fighting for dominance. This is not the behavior of a warrior species." Ambassador Krell accessed his data files. "Our scientists have studied their biology. Humans are weak compared to most species. They have no natural weapons, no claws, no thick skin, no poison. They cannot even see in the dark properly." The reptilian alien hissed softly. "They must have survived on their planet by working together. This makes them perfect servants. They naturally want to please others and work in groups." "Yes," said the furry alien. "We have seen this before. Species that survive through cooperation rather than strength. They make excellent workers. They do not rebel because they fear being alone." The aliens continued their study of humanity. They watched how humans responded to disasters. When earthquakes hit cities, humans rushed to help strangers. When ships sank in the ocean, humans risked their lives to save people they had never met. When children were in danger, adults would die to protect them. "See?" Ambassador Krell pointed to a video of firefighters saving people from a burning building. "They put the group before themselves. They follow orders without question. They work together perfectly. This is exactly what we need for the mining colonies and construction projects." The aliens had been searching for centuries for the perfect worker species. Most intelligent species were too proud to serve others. They rebelled when forced to work. They fought back when captured. But humans seemed different. Humans seemed to naturally want to help and serve. Dr. Emily Rodriguez, Earth's lead scientist in the exchange program, noticed something odd about the aliens' questions. They kept asking about human obedience. They wanted to know about human leadership structures. They seemed very interested in how humans followed orders. "Captain," Emily said to Sarah over a private communication channel, "I think something is wrong. These aliens are not asking the right questions. They should be asking about our technology or our culture. Instead, they keep asking about our submission patterns." Sarah frowned. "Submission patterns?" "Oh, they want to know how we respond to authority, how we react when someone stronger tells us what to do. It's like they're studying us as workers, not as equals." But before Sarah could investigate further, the aliens made their announcement. Ambassador Krell appeared on every human communication device across all Earth colonies. "People of Earth," he began, "the Hegemony Council has completed its evaluation of your species. After careful study, we have classified humanity as a Class 7 servitor species." Dr. Rodriguez felt her blood turn cold. She had read about servitor species in the alien databases. They were slaves. This classification means that humans are naturally suited for labor and service roles throughout the galaxy. Your cooperative nature and pack mentality make you ideal workers. You will be relocated to various worlds where your talents can be put to good use. Sarah stood up from her chair. "What are you talking about? We are not your workers. We are an independent species." Ambassador Krell tilted his head. "Your protest is expected. All new servitor species show initial resistance. But your own behavior proves our assessment is correct. Look at how you organize your societies. Look at how you help each other. Look at how you follow rules. This is not the behavior of a ruling species." "You're wrong," Sarah said firmly. "We help each other because we choose to. We follow rules because we made them ourselves. We work together because it makes us stronger, not because we are weak." The alien ambassador seemed confused by this response. "Your emotional outburst proves our point. You cannot think logically about your situation. This is why you need guidance from superior species." Other human ship captains across the galaxy began reporting the same message. All human colonies received the same announcement. The aliens had declared every human to be a slave. Dr. Rodriguez was studying the alien computers when she discovered the truth. The aliens had completely misunderstood human behavior. They saw cooperation as submission. They saw sacrifice as weakness. They saw civilization as proof that humans could not survive alone. They had no idea what they had just done. Back on Earth, President Maria Santos received the alien message. She read it twice, then set it down slowly. Around the table, her advisors sat in stunned silence. "They think we're slaves," she said quietly. "They actually think we're slaves." General Harrison, head of Earth's military, spoke carefully. "Madam President, they've completely misunderstood us. They see our cooperation as weakness. They don't realize it's our greatest strength." President Santos looked out the window at the peaceful city below. Children were playing in parks. People were walking to work. Everyone was living normal, free lives. Soon, that would change. "Send a message to all human colonies," she said. "Tell them to prepare for war." The aliens thought they had found the perfect slaves. They were about to learn the difference between choosing to cooperate and being forced to serve. President Maria Santos tried diplomacy first. She sent Ambassador David Williams to meet with the Hegemony Council. His instructions were simple. Make them understand that humans were not slaves. Ambassador Williams stood before the 47 alien species in their great council chamber. The room was enormous, with representatives floating, sitting, and standing according to their biology. Some breathed different gases. Others lived underwater in special tanks. All of them looked at Williams like he was a curious animal. "Honored Council," Williams began. "There has been a terrible misunderstanding. Humans are not a servitor species. We are intelligent beings with our own civilization. We wish to join the galactic community as equals." Ambassador Krell spoke for the council. "Human Williams, your request proves our assessment correct. A truly dominant species would not request permission. They would demand recognition. Your politeness shows your submissive nature." Williams tried a different approach. "Please observe our achievements. We developed space travel on our own. We built cities, created art, and established governments. Only free people could accomplish such things." A large, insect-like alien clicked its mandibles together. "Interesting. Your species has been trained well. Who taught you these skills?" "No one taught us," Williams replied. "We learned them ourselves over thousands of years." The aliens exchanged what looked like amused glances. A floating jellyfish creature pulsed with colored lights. Impossible. Servitor species cannot develop technology alone. You must have had masters in your past. Perhaps they abandoned your world long ago. Williams spent 3 weeks trying to convince them. He showed videos of human achievements. He explained human history. He demonstrated human technology. Nothing worked. The aliens had made up their minds. Your time for discussion is over, Ambassador Krell finally announced. Report to the processing ship for relocation. Williams refused. That was when he learned that diplomacy had failed completely. The alien fleet that arrived at Earth's solar system was massive. 500 ships of various sizes surrounded the human colonies. Earth's military had 12 ships capable of space combat. The colonies had another 8 ships between them. Admiral Jessica Parker commanded the human fleet from her flagship, the Times Defiance Asterisk. She looked at the odds and knew they were hopeless. But she had her orders. Protect Earth and the colonies at all costs. All ships, this is Admiral Parker, she broadcast. We are outgunned. But we are not outfought. Show them what humans can do. The battle lasted 6 hours. Human ships fought with desperate courage. They used every trick they knew. They rammed enemy ships when their weapons failed. They set off their own reactors as weapons when all else failed. They never surrendered. But courage was not enough. The alien ships were faster, stronger, and more numerous. One by one, human ships were destroyed or captured. The Times Defiance Times was the last ship fighting. Admiral Parker's final transmission was heard across the galaxy. This is Admiral Parker to any human who can hear this. We fought with honor. We never surrendered. Remember this day. Remember that humans choose to be free. Then the Times Defiance Times exploded, taking 3 alien ships with it. The aliens were surprised by human resistance. They had expected immediate surrender. Instead, they had lost ships to a species they considered inferior. Puzzling, Ambassador Krell said to his military commander. Their behavior does not match their classification. Perhaps they have not been properly trained yet, the commander replied. We will teach them obedience. The mass abductions began immediately. Alien ships landed on human colonies and Earth itself. They used stunning weapons that made humans unconscious without killing them. Entire cities were emptied. Families were separated. Children were taken from their parents. Dr. Emily Rodriguez found herself in a transport ship with 3,000 other humans. They were all in cages, barely big enough to stand in. The alien guards wore translation devices. You will work in the lithium mines of Keth Prime, a guard announced. Work hard, and you will receive food. Cause trouble, and you will receive punishment. An old man in the cage next to Emily spoke up. Where are our children? What have you done with our families? The guard looked at him with 4 insect-like eyes. Children are sent to training facilities. They will learn proper behavior. Adults who work well may see them again. Emily felt rage building inside her. These aliens had no idea what they were doing. They thought humans were animals to be trained. They were about to learn otherwise. On Keth Prime, the humans were forced to work 18 hours a day. The lithium mines were dangerous. The air was thin. The gravity was wrong. Many humans got sick. Some died from the working conditions. But something unexpected happened. The humans began to organize. Marcus Chen, a former construction foreman, became a natural leader. He helped humans share food, so everyone got enough. He organized work teams, so the strong helped the weak. He created a communication system using tapping sounds so guards could not understand. We need to be smart about this, Marcus told the others during a secret meeting. They think we are animals. Let them keep thinking that while we plan. The aliens were confused by human behavior. Other slave species fought each other for resources. They competed for the guards' favor. They tried to make their own lives better at the expense of others, but humans shared everything. When one human was punished, others took care of his family. When someone was sick, others did their work. When children cried, any adult would comfort them. This is not normal servitor behavior, the mine supervisor reported to his superiors. They show loyalty to each other, instead of to us. They refused to compete for privileges. The response was always the same. Increased discipline. Lord. The punishments got worse. Humans who were caught helping each other were beaten. Humans who spoke during work were put in isolation chambers. Humans who shared food had their rations reduced. Nothing worked. If anything, the punishments made humans more determined to help each other. 6 months after the first abductions, humans began escaping. Marcus Chen had been planning for weeks. He had studied the guards' routines. He had mapped the mine tunnels. He had counted the weapons. The first escape attempt freed 50 humans before it was stopped. The second attempt freed 200. The third attempt freed 500 before the guards could react. Each time, the escapees were recaptured. Each time, they were punished more severely. But each time, they learned more about their captors' weaknesses. The breaking point came when Commander Vex, the alien in charge of all human labor camps, decided to send a message. He gathered representatives from the Hegemony Council and news reporters from across the galaxy. Today we will demonstrate the proper way to manage a servitor species, he announced. 10,000 humans were brought to a massive plaza on the planet Nexus 7. They had been selected from the most troublesome workers. Men, women, and children stood together in the center of the plaza. These humans have shown repeated disobedience, Commander Vex announced to the watching galaxy. This demonstrates why firm discipline is necessary with servitor species. Emily Rodriguez was among the 10,000. She held the hand of a little girl whose parents had died in the mines. Around her, humans stood quietly. They were not begging. They were not crying. They were looking directly at their captors with steady eyes. Execute them all, Commander Vex ordered. The alien weapons fired. 10,000 humans died in moments. Their only crime had been trying to remain free. The execution was broadcast live across the galaxy. The aliens wanted every species to see what happened to those who defied the Hegemony Council. On Earth, President Santos watched the broadcast with her military leaders. The room was silent, except for the sound of her aide crying quietly. How many humans are still in the camps? Santos asked. 12 million, Madam President, General Harrison replied. Santos stood up slowly. Her face was calm, but her eyes were filled with something the aliens had never seen before. Pure, focused rage. Send a message to every human ship, every human colony, and every human still on Earth, she said quietly. Tell them what these aliens just did to our people. What message should we send? Harrison asked. Santos looked at the screen where the bodies of 10,000 humans still lay. Tell them that diplomacy is over. Tell them that mercy is over. Tell them that we are going to war, and we will not stop until every single alien who participated in this dies screaming. The aliens thought they had sent a message about the price of defiance. Instead, they had just taught humanity the true meaning of wrath. The video of the execution reached Earth 6 hours after it happened. President Santos knew that everything had changed. The time for talking was over. The time for mercy was over. Now it was time to show these aliens what humans really were. General Harrison, Santos said, activate the Global Defense Protocol. Every human on Earth is now part of the war effort. Within 24 hours, Earth transformed. Factories that made cars began making weapons. Schools became training centers. Scientists stopped their research and started studying captured alien technology. Children old enough to work helped build supplies. Everyone had a job in the war machine. Dr. Jennifer Walsh had been studying alien computers for months. She was a software engineer who specialized in artificial intelligence. The aliens had left several damaged ships after their first attack. Now she was learning their secrets. President Santos, she called excitedly. I think I understand how their technology works. Santos arrived at the laboratory within an hour. Dr. Walsh showed her screens full of alien code and diagrams of alien ships. Their technology is advanced, but it's predictable, Dr. Walsh explained. They've been using the same basic designs for thousands of years. They never had to adapt because no one ever fought back effectively. What does that mean for us? Santos asked. It means we can beat them. Their ships are fast, but they can't change direction quickly. Their weapons are powerful, but they take time to recharge. Their shields are strong, but they use too much power. Santos smiled grimly. How long to build ships that can exploit these weaknesses? Give me every engineer on Earth in 6 months. You have them. Meanwhile, in the alien labor camps, Marcus Chen was organizing something the aliens had never seen before. A coordinated rebellion across multiple worlds. The aliens had made a crucial mistake. They had put the smartest, strongest humans in the same camps because they were the most troublesome. They had not realized that these humans would find ways to communicate across vast distances. Dr. Sarah Kim had been a communications engineer before her capture. Working in the crystal mines of Altair 9, she discovered that the crystals could carry encoded messages. By tapping specific patterns, she could send signals to other mining worlds. Message received from Vega Station, she whispered to Marcus during a break. They have 400 humans ready to move. Kepler base reports 600 ready. The shipyards on Titan 5 have 800. Marcus nodded. The plan was simple but dangerous. When the signal came, humans on 37 different worlds would attack at the same time. They would use mining equipment as weapons. They would take alien ships and fly them to Earth. The aliens had no idea what was coming. Commander Vex was reviewing production reports when his aide rushed in. Commander, we have a problem. The human work groups have become too efficient. Vex looked up from his datapad. Efficiency is good. Why is this a problem, sir? They're working so well together that they're finishing their quotas early. Some groups are finishing 3 days early. It's unnatural. Fellow, Vex frowned. In 5,000 years of managing slave species, he had never seen slaves work faster than required. Usually, they worked as slowly as possible. Perhaps they are finally learning obedience, he suggested. That's what we thought, sir. But the supervisors report strange behavior. The humans seem excited about their work. They smile at each other. They sing while they work. It's like they're happy about something. Vex felt a chill run through his forearms. Happy slaves were dangerous slaves. Increase surveillance. Monitor all human communication. But it was too late. The humans were not singing because they were happy about work. They were singing because embedded in the songs were coded messages. Every verse told other humans when and where to attack. The rebellion began at exactly the same moment across the galaxy. On 37 worlds, humans who had been pretending to be broken slaves suddenly revealed themselves to be trained soldiers, engineers, and tacticians. On Altair 9, Dr. Sarah Kim had rigged the mining crystals to overload. When she sent the signal, every crystal in the mine exploded at once. The explosion destroyed the alien command center and freed 4,000 humans. On Vega Station, former Earth military officers used construction mechs as weapons. The 50-foot-tall machines were designed for building, but they made excellent weapons when controlled by people who knew how to fight. On Kepler base, humans had been secretly modifying the alien ships they were forced to maintain. When the rebellion started, every ship in the repair yard turned its weapons on the alien guards. The most spectacular victory came at Titan 5, where humans had been building ships for the alien fleet. Chief Engineer Roberto Santos, the president's brother, had been inserting hidden weaknesses into every ship for 6 months. Computer, he said as aliens rushed to stop the rebellion. Activate Santos protocol. Every ship the humans had built suddenly shut down. Their weapons stopped working. Their engines failed. Their life support systems turned off. In 30 minutes, the entire shipyard was under human control. The aliens were shocked. Across the galaxy, they were receiving reports of simultaneous uprisings. Planets that had been secure were falling to slave rebellions. Ships were being stolen. Weapons were being turned against their creators. How is this possible? Ambassador Krell demanded during an emergency council meeting. Servitor species do not coordinate attacks. They do not think strategically. They do not work together across such distances. The truth was becoming clear, but the aliens could not accept it. They had been wrong about humans. Completely wrong. On Earth, the first captured alien ships began arriving. Human pilots had learned to fly them by watching their alien captors. The ships came loaded with refugees and valuable intelligence. Dr. Walsh studied the new ships with excitement. President Santos, these ships have detailed maps of the entire hegemony. We know where every alien world is located. We know where they keep their fleets. We know where our people are being held. Santos looked at the star charts, showing hundreds of alien worlds. How many humans are still in the camps? End quote. About 8 million, ma'am, but they're spread across the galaxy. Then we'll go get them. Santos turned to General Harrison. How's our ship construction coming along? Wud. Harrison smiled. It was not a pleasant smile. The first 100 ships will be ready next week. They're not pretty, but they're fast and they hit hard. Dr. Walsh's modifications make them perfect for fighting alien ships. Good. Begin the rescue missions. The first Earth strike force consisted of 12 ships and 300 volunteers. Their target was the prison planet Koldek Prime, where 20,000 humans were being held in terrible conditions. Captain Lisa Morgan commanded the strike force. She had been a test pilot before the war. Now she was flying a ship that combined human and alien technology in ways the aliens had never imagined. Remember, she told her pilots, we're not here to fight fair. We're here to get our people and hurt the aliens as much as possible. The attack on Koldek Prime lasted 4 hours. The human ships moved in ways the aliens could not predict. They used tactics the aliens had never seen. Most importantly, they fought with a rage the aliens could not understand. When it was over, 20,000 humans were free, and the planet's defense grid was a smoking ruin. The rescue ships headed home, but the attack ships stayed behind. They had more work to do. Captain Morgan's voice echoed across the alien communication channels. This is Captain Morgan of the Earth Strike Force. You took our people and called them slaves. You tortured them. You murdered them. Now you will pay the price. We are coming for all of you. The message was broadcast to every alien world in the sector. For the first time in their history, the hegemony species felt something they had never experienced before. Fear. Ambassador Krell tried to contact Earth for negotiations. The response came from President Santos herself. Ambassador Krell. Her voice was cold as space itself. You declared us slaves. You murdered our children. You thought we were weak because we chose to cooperate instead of fighting each other. You were wrong about everything. There will be no negotiations. There will be no mercy. There will be only consequences. The communication ended. Across the galaxy, human ships were appearing in systems the aliens thought were safe. The species that had declared humans to be slaves was about to learn what humans were really capable of when they stopped pretending to be civilized. 6 months after the first rescue mission, Earth's war machine was running at full power. President Santos stood in the command center, watching reports come in from across the galaxy. The numbers told the story. 43 alien worlds attacked, 26 completely destroyed, 8 million humans rescued. But the rescues had ended 3 months ago. Now Earth was doing something else entirely. Report from Task Force 7, General Harrison announced. The Zentari homeworld is gone. Complete planetary sterilization accomplished. No survivors. Santos nodded without emotion. The Zentari had been one of the main species pushing for human enslavement. Their blue-skinned ambassador, Krell, had led the effort to classify humans as slaves. Now his entire species was extinct. Task Force 3 reports success at the Corvan system, another officer called out. All 4 planets rendered uninhabitable. The gas giant colonies have been destroyed. The pattern was the same across the galaxy. Human fleets would arrive at alien systems with overwhelming force. They would demand the surrender of any aliens who had voted to enslave humans. When the aliens refused, or tried to fight, the humans would destroy everything. But this was not random destruction. Earth had studied the aliens for months. They knew exactly which species had supported human slavery and which had opposed it. They knew which governments had voted yes and which had voted no. They knew which military officers had carried out orders and which had refused. The humans had made lists, very detailed lists. Admiral Chen, Marcus's sister, commanded the largest human fleet. 300 ships followed her flagship, the Times Retribution Asterisk. Her current target was the Vaktar Industrial Complex, where 50,000 humans had died in the factories. "Admiral," her communication officer reported, "we're receiving a surrender offer from the Vaktar government. Put them through," Admiral Chen ordered. A large, insect-like alien appeared on the main screen. Its mandibles clicked nervously as it spoke. "Admiral Chen, we wish to surrender. We will free all remaining humans in our territory. We will pay reparations for any damage we have caused. We ask only that you spare our civilian population." Admiral Chen studied the alien for a long moment. Then she opened a file on her computer. "According to our records, your government voted unanimously to support human enslavement. Your factories used human workers until they died from exhaustion. Your guards executed humans for asking for food. That was a mistake," the alien pleaded. "We were following the Council's orders. We did not know humans were truly intelligent." Oh, you watched 10,000 humans die on live broadcast and celebrated the lesson it taught, Admiral Chen replied coldly. "Your intelligence networks have recordings of the celebration parties your people held." The alien's legs started shaking. "Please, Admiral. Our children had nothing to do with these decisions." Admiral Chen's expression did not change. Human children had nothing to do with starting this war either. They died anyway. She turned to her weapons officer. "Begin bombardment." The Vaktar system died in flames. The industrial complex that had killed so many humans became a cloud of radioactive gas. The planets that had hosted celebration parties became frozen rocks floating in space. But the humans did not stop there. They had learned something important about the Hegemony Council. The 47 species were not really allies. They had been forced together by the strongest species and held in line by fear. Dr. Elena Vasquez had become Earth's expert on alien psychology. She studied intercepted communications between alien governments. What she found gave Earth a powerful new weapon. "President Santos," she reported, "the aliens are starting to blame each other. The Corvan are saying the Zentari forced them to vote for human enslavement. The Thek claim the Vaktar tricked them into supporting the decision." Santos smiled for the first time in months. "Interesting. What do you recommend? We should help them tear each other apart. If they're busy fighting each other, they can't organize a defense against us." The psychological warfare began immediately. Human ships would arrive in alien systems carrying proof of what other species had said about them. They would broadcast recordings of alien leaders insulting each other. They would reveal secret deals and hidden agreements. The effect was devastating. Species that had worked together for thousands of years suddenly turned on each other. Military alliances collapsed. Trade agreements were canceled. Some aliens even started attacking their former allies before the humans could reach them. On the planet Nexus Prime, where the Hegemony Council met, chaos had taken over. Ambassador Krell tried to hold an emergency session, but only half the species showed up. The others were too busy fighting each other or defending their own worlds. "We must work together," Krell pleaded to the remaining delegates. "The humans are destroying us one by one. If we unite our fleets, we can stop them." The reptilian ambassador from SCORE hissed angrily. "Unite? Your species started this war by misreading the humans. My worlds are burning because you convinced us they were slaves." A floating jellyfish from the ethereal collective pulsed with angry colors. "The humans broadcast your private communications yesterday. We heard you laughing about how stupid our species was to believe your assessments." "That was taken out of context," Krell protested. "Was it?" The furry representative from the Ket Dominion showed its claws. Because the humans also released the recording where you called us useful idiots for supporting your slave classification. The council chamber erupted in angry shouts, threats, and accusations. 3 different species declared war on each other during the meeting. By the time it ended, the Hegemony Council had effectively destroyed itself. But Earth was not satisfied with watching them fight each other. The systematic extermination continued. Task Force 1 arrived at the Hegemony's main military base at Fortress Gamma. The base was protected by the largest space station ever built, and defended by over 1,000 ships from 20 different species. The battle should have been impossible for the humans to win. They were outnumbered 10 to 1. The alien base had weapons that could destroy planets. The alien ships had shields that could stop anything. But the humans had learned something the aliens never understood. Cooperation was not weakness. It was the most powerful force in the universe. Every human ship in the battle was connected to every other ship. They shared targeting data instantly. They moved as one giant organism. When one ship found a weakness in an enemy vessel, every other human ship knew about it within seconds. The humans had also brought a new weapon. The Prometheus Times was not a warship. It was a converted industrial ship that had been turned into the largest bomb ever created. Its only job was to get close to the space station and explode. Captain Torres piloted the Prometheus Times on its final mission. All human ships, this is Torres. It has been an honor serving with you. The Prometheus Times crashed into the center of the space station and detonated. The explosion was so bright it could be seen from planets in other star systems. When the light faded, the greatest military base in galactic history was gone. The remaining alien ships tried to retreat, but there was nowhere to go. Human ships were everywhere, moving with perfect coordination, striking with absolute precision. When the battle ended 6 hours later, Earth controlled the most strategic location in the galaxy. But more importantly, they had sent a message to every remaining alien species. Nowhere was safe. The alien governments that were still functioning tried one last time to negotiate. They offered everything they could think of. Complete surrender. Massive reparations. Permanent exile from human space. Even the sacrifice of their own leaders. President Santos received their offers in her office on Earth. She read through them carefully, then called her military leaders. "They're offering to give us half the galaxy if we stop the war," she told them. General Harrison shook his head. "Not enough." Admiral Chen agreed. "They killed our children and called them lessons in obedience. There can be no peace with such creatures." Santos looked out her window at the memorial garden where the names of every murdered human were carved in stone. 10,000 names from the mass execution. Millions more from the labor camps. Children who had died crying for parents they would never see again. "Send them our response," she said quietly. "Tell them that we remember every human who died in their camps. Tell them that we will not stop until every species that participated in our enslavement is extinct. Tell them that this is not a war for territory or resources. This is justice." The message was broadcast across the galaxy. On worlds where aliens still lived, parents held their children close and wondered if they would see tomorrow. The species that had thought humans were naturally submissive were learning that some things should never be chained. The fire was spreading, and nothing could put it out. 3 years after the first alien ship had arrived at Earth, President Santos stood in what used to be the Hegemony Council chamber. The great room was empty, except for human technicians. Installing new equipment, the 47 species that had once ruled the galaxy were gone. Most of them were extinct. The rest wished they were. "Final report, General Harrison?" Santos asked. Harrison consulted his tablet. 31 species completely extinct. No survivors found anywhere in the galaxy. 16 species with remaining populations in containment facilities. Total alien population, approximately 47 million, down from original estimates of 800 billion. Santos nodded. The numbers told the story. But they did not tell the whole story. The humans had not simply killed aliens. They had made very careful choices about who lived and who died. Species that had voted against human enslavement were allowed to keep some of their worlds. Species that had tried to protect human prisoners were given reduced sentences. Species that had shown mercy to human children were shown mercy in return. But species that had celebrated human deaths, that had competed to create the worst working conditions, that had experimented on human prisoners, those species were gone forever. Dr. Elena Vasquez had become the administrator of the alien reservations. It was not a job anyone wanted, but someone had to do it. She walked through Reservation 7, where the last members of the Ket Dominion lived under human supervision. The furry aliens who had once commanded vast fleets now lived in simple housing units. They were fed, clothed, and given medical care. They were also watched constantly and forbidden from leaving their designated areas. Dr. Vasquez, one of the younger Ket, approached her. "My children ask when we can return to our homeworld." Vasquez looked at the alien sadly. "Your homeworld no longer exists. Your government voted to enslave humans, and then competed with other species to create the harshest working conditions. Your military executed human prisoners for entertainment. But I was just a child then," the alien protested. "I never hurt any humans." "I know," Vasquez replied. "That's why you're alive. But your species made choices. Those choices have consequences." The alien looked down at its feet. "What will happen to us? You will live here safely for the rest of your lives. Your children will be educated about human history and values. Perhaps their children will earn the right to live in the galaxy again. But that decision will be made by humans, and it will be based on your behavior over generations." Quote, "It was the same conversation Vasquez had with aliens across the galaxy. The survivors were not prisoners exactly, but they were not free either. They were evidence, living reminders of what happened to species that chose slavery over freedom. Admiral Chen had become the first commander of the Terran Space Force. Her job was to patrol the galaxy and make sure no new threats emerged. She stood on the bridge of her flagship as it approached the border of known space. "Admiral," her sensor officer reported, "we're detecting artificial structures in the Omega sector. Someone is building ships out there." Chen frowned. "The Omega sector was supposed to be empty. Send a probe to investigate." 2 hours later, the probe sent back data that made Chen smile. The structures were not weapons. They were memorials. Aliens from species that had opposed human enslavement were building monuments to the humans who had died in the camps. "It seems some species learned the right lesson from this war," Chen said to her crew. But not all aliens had learned. In the distant Tau sector, a new alliance was forming. Species that had hidden during the human war were trying to rebuild the old ways. They called themselves the Liberation Front and claimed they were going to free the galaxy from human tyranny. The Liberation Front made one crucial mistake. They sent a message to Earth demanding that humans withdraw from all alien worlds and free the alien prisoners. President Santos read the message in her office. She had aged in the 3 years since the war began. Her hair was now completely gray, but her eyes still held the same cold fire that had driven humanity to victory. "How many species are in this Liberation Front?" she asked General Harrison. "Intelligence reports say 12 species, ma'am. About 6 million total population. They're building a fleet in the Tau Nebula." Santos considered this for a moment. "Send Task Force Omega to investigate. If they surrender and promise to live peacefully, accept their surrender. If they choose to fight, yes, ma'am." "What if they try to negotiate?" "There are no negotiations with species that want to bring back slavery," Santos said firmly. "They can surrender or they can die. Those are their only options." Task Force Omega found the Liberation Front 3 weeks later. The Alien Alliance had built an impressive fleet of 200 ships hidden in the nebula. They had trained soldiers and planned strategies. They thought they were ready for war. They had forgotten what humans were capable of. The battle lasted 47 minutes. When it ended, the Liberation Front was extinct, and the Tau Nebula glowed with the wreckage of their dreams. The message to the rest of the galaxy was clear. The humans were not going to allow slavery to return. Ever. But humanity was not content to just patrol and punish. They were building something new. On the planet that had once been the hegemony capital, construction crews were building the headquarters of the Terran Protectorate. The massive complex would house representatives from every free species in the galaxy and serve as the center of a new kind of government. Unlike the old hegemony, membership in the Protectorate was voluntary. Species could join if they agreed to follow certain rules. No slavery of any kind, protection for all sentient beings, peaceful resolution of disputes, and cooperation in defense against external threats. The rules were simple, but they were enforced absolutely. Species that broke the rules were visited by human inspection teams. Species that enslaved others were destroyed without mercy. Species that protected freedom and dignity were defended by the full might of human military power. Dr. Sarah Kim, the former mining prisoner who had helped coordinate the rebellion, was now Earth's ambassador to the Protectorate. She worked with representatives from dozens of species to create laws that protected freedom while allowing for diverse cultures and ways of life. The key, she explained to a gathering of alien diplomats, is to remember that freedom is not something you earn, it is something you are born with. Any species that tries to take freedom away from others will answer to humanity. The system worked. Trade flourished between member species. Science advanced as different cultures shared knowledge. Art and literature from hundreds of worlds enriched the galaxy. Children of different species played together on worlds throughout the Protectorate, but the humans never forgot the lessons of the war. Every human child learned about the camps. Every human ship carried weapons capable of destroying planets. Every human colony had defenses that could hold off entire fleets. The galaxy had peace, but it was a peace enforced by the absolute certainty that humans would destroy anyone who threatened freedom. 5 years after the war ended, something unprecedented happened. A massive ship appeared at the edge of the galaxy. It was larger than any ship ever built and used technology that human scientists could not immediately understand. The ship broadcast a message on all frequencies. We seek an audience with the leaders of humanity. We come from the Andromeda Galaxy. We have heard the stories of your war against slavery. We wish to discuss an alliance. President Santos, now in her 70s but still sharp, prepared to meet the new visitors. The meeting was held in the Protectorate headquarters, with representatives from hundreds of species watching. The Andromeda delegation consisted of 6 beings unlike anything in the galaxy. They looked like living crystals that shifted color and shape as they moved. Their leader spoke in a voice like music. People of Earth, the crystal being said, we have traveled 2 million light years to meet you. In our galaxy, slavery exists in many forms. Entire species are bred for servitude. Whole worlds exist only to serve their masters. We have fought this evil for millennia, but we have never been able to end it completely. Santos leaned forward in her chair. What are you asking of us? We ask for your help, not your ships or your weapons, but your knowledge. How did you turn cooperation into strength? How did you transform a galaxy of masters and slaves into a community of equals? Santos looked around the room at the representatives from hundreds of species. Former enemies sat next to former victims. Species that had once enslaved others now worked alongside those they had oppressed. All of them were united by a simple principle. Freedom was not negotiable. The secret, Santos said to the crystal beings, is to make slavery more dangerous than freedom. We did not just defeat the slavers. We made it clear that anyone who practices slavery will face complete destruction. We made freedom the only safe choice. The crystal being changed color, shifting from blue to gold. And the other species accepted this? Owing. Santos smiled, but it was not a pleasant expression. They learned that cooperation and submission are not the same thing. They learned that humans will die before we accept chains, and we will kill before we allow others to be chained. The leader of the Andromeda delegation was quiet for a long moment. Then it spoke again. We have come seeking alliance with the species that turned slavery into a death sentence for those who practice it. Will you help us bring this justice to our galaxy? Santos looked at her advisors, then at the alien representatives, then back at the crystal being. Species that choose slavery have already made their choice. We will help you give them the consequences they have earned. As the meeting ended, and representatives began planning for the greatest military campaign in galactic history, One thought echoed through the minds of every being present. The galaxy had learned too late that humanity's greatest strength was not their technology or their numbers, but their absolute refusal to accept chains for themselves or anyone else. The age of slavery was ending, one galaxy at a time.